Capital in capitalism is supposed to symbolize social contribution and value. Now, we all know it has been subverted to the point it only symbolizes criminality. It wasn't always that way. This is the logic behind making certain forms of capitalism illegal, like human trafficking and drug dealing, where there are routes where you're actually harming society but gaining a lot of capital, thus subverting the capitalist system. The logic behind capitalism is if I make a product, if I go to school and become a super specialized surgeon, I get a lot of capital, and that is a proxy for my social contribution. If capital stops symbolizing social contribution and increasingly just becomes to symbolize crime, which is what's happening, and no, it has happened, it no longer means anything. You've literally taken a system that was designed to have this proxy for social good and being of worth to people, and not only means crime, it means corruption, collusion, deception, right? This is why we have certain forms of capitalism illegal, like human trafficking, selling girls, um, dealing drugs, or frankly stealing other people's productivity and then selling it to make capital, right? When you chase bags, and how you're getting your bag is by subverting everybody and being a menace, sabotaging society, you are not winning. Okay. It may feel that way because now you can buy a car and now you got a house. But the people facilitating that the real way to get capital is to destroy the middle class, to destroy people, they are going to destroy you in the end. You will not be winning with a bag. Okay. What the elites are doing, the government system and their billionaire fronts, is they have increasingly shifted the game from you get capital for being a doctor, a lawyer, whatever, and you get bags by helping them destroy the bottom. Is they're tricking you in your myopia that you don't see a world can exist where capital doesn't mean anything. You get that? Like, it is not default that whoever has the most money has the most power, okay? And I assure you, they're going to make a system where nobody will eventually have money and nobody will be a higher class. Capitalism is intrinsically linked to classes existing, where there are tiers of people who've done good things to get money. This is why his liberalism and capitalism was the best thing that happened to regular people. It created a system where people could do better and be rewarded, and while spurring innovation. It no longer like the now we are ruled by this tiny clique of Satanists, and everything they're doing, giving you a bag to do crimes, is to set it up for the day where there's two classes, them and everybody else. Them and everybody else, right? So what you need to know is all your bag chasing, all you're feeling like you're winning in the future, 100 years down the road, you will be your ancestors, your descendants will be living in a ditch. All the bags they gave you will not matter because they didn't give you a big enough bag to be on that side. They gave you just a bag enough where you could be tricked to destroy everything that created why chasing bags is relevant. And you'll be sitting in a ditch. This is what's going to look like. It's going to look like Russia. In Russia, there's two classes pretty much, the mafia and everybody else. There's some people have a little more, but everyone is doing way worse than America. You get that? Everyone in Russia is doing way worse than America. This is true of all these nations that are these people like Steve Bannon, Elon Musk, Trump, that they partner with the world where there's two classes. The Arab world, Russia. What does that tell you? It tells you that's the future of America. If you see your leaders are working with people like Saudi Arabia, UAE, Russia, that's who they're really pitching with. They're not with the liberal world. They're not with Europe where there's classes. They're with those people. What does that tell you about your future? That that's awaiting you, right? There's no role in these countries to chase a bag. They're getting you to chase bags because they're banking on you being too stupid that you can't anticipate getting you to chase a bag to do crime and sabotage society for money is a trick so that it won't mean anything, right? There'll still be money. But it will just increasingly mean this is why these dictators are in power and you're just at the bottom with everybody else trying to turn on your faucet, no water comes out, taking a shit and this plumbing doesn't work, and just piles of garbage everywhere because they stopped sanitation. There's no police departments. Everyone just eats each other. They're banking. You can't figure that out, and they're no way, no how giving you enough money that you would avoid that fate, right? Because there's just going to be basically two classes, them and everybody else, and you are not a high ranking enough helper to be in the kind of better place. You just aren't. That's going to be those places will be designated for their tech workers. You know that, right? Like that's your future. You're going to be programming the machines to just not live in the sewer with the fucking dehumanized, barely human groups of oppressed people. You know that, right? You're not going to be living in a better place. So right now it feels like you're winning. Like, oh, I got my bag. Yeah, I'm winning. It's like, no, they're banking on you not understanding how any of this works. So you cannot anticipate you're being tricked, turn yourself into a ditch. And it will work, right? Because people like me who see this are a huge, huge minority. And the most poor people who are already spiritually broken, they're already bankrupt, they already have no morals. All they can see is if I help these people, even if they say I'm inferior, I'm going to get a bag and win. And it's like, you're not. You're really, really not. Like, you don't even understand why capitalism exists. You don't understand why capital has ever meant anything. And why, when capitalism was healthy, there were strict regulations. You can't have valid capitalism for doing crimes, right? You don't understand why it will, like, if the people who hold the most capital are giving you capital to do crimes, they're making a world where as bad as you had it now, you're gonna have it worse. But they'll give you the bag now, right? You were in a Columbia House CD scam and you don't even know it. Remember when I don't know how old you are, when you were kids, like, oh, I get 12 free CDs for a penny. I'm a winner. And it's like, then you end up spending more than if you just bought what you wanted at the store, right? That's like all of you chasing bags and thinking they're helping you. They're going to the most myopic, ignorant, and poor to give them perks to recruit them in the army to destroy the concept of classes. Their real allies and their real soul is Saudi Arabia, UAE, and Russia. What does that tell you? Does that tell you they're gonna make those places like us? No, they're gonna make us like them. Oh yeah, and your bag won't mean shit unless your bag is several $1,000,000. There's no way it's gonna mean shit. I was watching this dude. He's got this dumb fucking hat bag chaser. He's some Google piece of shit. All he does is make videos to help the billionaire elite class destroy us, right? And he was opining how 18-year-old girls should know they're being contractually obligated to be sex slaves when they're invited to a party by their friend. And I'm just looking at this like, they let Chris Cornell live too long. Like, that's how my brain works. I can see something and then like other pieces of data will click together, even if they're unrelated, because I'll see how they're related. I'm always seeing similarities and making connections. And so I'm watching this like, they let Chris Cornell live too long, man. This dude was singing about them and talking about them over and over and over in hindsight, bruh. Pretty News. Oh my god. Immediately I thought of Pretty News. And like I had not seen this before, but watching this guy say sex slaves deserve it and he's wearing his bag chaser's hat, I was like, they let Chris Cornell live too long. Maybe they didn't because I didn't see it until now, until it was too late. But Pretty News is about them. Yeah, like just like Black Hole Sun's about them. Um, the song seems to be about manipulative sex workers, right? But when you understand what rules us, he's really singing about the Illuminati controlling these people, right? We now know, we didn't know at the time, but we now know they create this class amongst them called the sex slave, right? You know, just like the planters had the subhuman black class, these Illuminati has a whole ass class of sex slave. And they use the sex slave to make the less controlled, the just not less, the justice controlled people feel free. And that's what you're looking at when you see that guy with the bag chaser's hat. He's thinking, I'm winning, I'm getting a bag, and these girls are below me in the system. And Chris Cornell could see through this trick. Like, they're making this class of dehumanized women slaves that they trick with, like, I'll pay you money, I'll do this or that for you, until they're dehumanized and they're just a sex worker. And people like me who are orbiting in the Illuminati system are supposed to look at them and feel powerful and free. But it's all a pretty noose. And you could not see this until this moment in time when we know a little bit about how it works. It was all hidden from us until now. And to look back at that video and song, it's like you would walk away from it and think women enslave me. That's like the dummy opinion. But now that we know what they do, this is what they do to get a larger group of helpers of men. They enslave women, manipulating their money and their desperate status until they hone them into a machine that will dehumanize themselves for money. And then the men in the system and some of the women orbit these girls and look at them and say, I'm above her. I'm free. I'm not like her. I'm winning. I'm getting my bag. And the whole thing about the video, when you look back in song, is he's trying to say, when I look at this girl, I'm looking at the devil. I'm looking at Illuminati, and I'm enslaved too. They made her to make me unwitting fucking slave. And the video, when you realize that's what it's really about, like while she's dancing for them, she turns into Baphomet. And they show the band below her looking up at her like she has more power than them because she exists to take their power, right? And the whole lyrics are basically, it's all a system of control, and the money and privileges are just pretty pain, pretty hate. And yeah, so I was watching this guy fall for it. Like, I'm a bag chaser winning, and we're getting these girls. They're below us. And them being enslaved means I'm free when he's like the most mind fucked enslaved person, right? And you're chasing a bag that eventually won't mean anything. And I just looked at it and was like, they let Chris Cornell live too long, bro.